Welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen here with Life and Energy Coach Linda Armstrong. Today is Friday, April 26, 2019. It's 4 p.m. in New York. It's 1 p.m. in Los Angeles, 9 p.m. in London and Sydney, Australia. Good morning. It's 6 a.m. there, but wherever you are in the world, thank you for joining us for another episode of LOA Today, your daily dose of happy. And I don't know about you, Linda. I'm kind of happy that the week is coming to an end because it's been a good week. It's been a little challenging at times. But I'm looking forward to the break on the weekend. That's the way I feel about it.
I had a great week. I'm feeling great. Yeah.
Well, cool.
It's rainy though in our area of the country at the moment.
It is. It's raining here. Pouring earlier. Yeah, it was really coming down. But that's good. There's an old cliche, right? April showers bring me flowers, and that's key to my wife's business because she's a gardening service business, and you got to have lots of rain to keep the customers happy. So it's a good thing.
And this week was great because, I've been out without a jacket like many days. It was hot. Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, that's been great, especially when you're coming out of the winter. And I don't know about you, spring is my favorite season of the year. So it's like there's an anticipation. And I'm looking forward to it, and then it's coming, and it's here. It's like, I want to get out there. Oh, no, it's too cold. I can't go out today. I got to go out when it's warm.
Yeah.
That's the way it feels.
Unless you're extremely bundled up. But, But I love spring.
But lately it's been great, yeah. I mean, getting out, doing my walks and so forth. Oh, it's been beautiful. I look forward to the rest of it and enjoying it and all that good stuff. So we're actually doing something a little bit different. I've been live streaming to Facebook, as you know, for quite some time now. And I've decided I'm going to start live streaming to YouTube. I'm directing everybody from Facebook over to YouTube so they can find us there. But I want to see what happens when we live stream to YouTube. Maybe we'll pick up even more new people that way.
Oh, so, I see that now. I didn't even notice it. Live on YouTube.
Live on YouTube. There we are. Yeah. So, it's an experiment. We'll see what happens. We'll see what the energy delivers to us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't really have any kind of a topic in mind for today, but I don't know, maybe just spring and the energies that come with spring.
Or let's just pick a card and see what it talks about. Maybe that's our topic.
Okay. That sounds good to me.
Could do that. Sometimes I do that for videos. I'm like, I don't know what I want to talk about. I'll pick a card and I'll talk about whatever the card wants to talk about.
Those cards come in very handy for you, don't they? In a wide range of ways.
Oh, look, and the one that was at the top was the garden and the gate.
Ah, beautiful.
Except I'm not going to read that because that wasn't my intention. It just happened to be there.
That's fun, though.
Which is usually the way it works, but I want to shuffle it up a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, everything, now it's time to get out there and do like really good, garden cleanup and sorting out what you want to do with all that. I neglected my whole landscaping last year, so I want to get into it this year. Because I like doing that. I love doing that. Yeah.
There are a lot of people of course, just being in the garden, for those who like it. I've never been a gardener. I've never really enjoyed it myself, but Louise has loved it for years. And those who love it, I mean, they're connected right to the earth when they're doing it. That's one of the things that they love most about it.
You know what? I remember there was a world tournament in England that I was taking part in. And part of what I enjoyed was like kind of part of my training leading up to it is I had this like 15 yards of dirt that I was hauling around my property, putting into flower beds and all.
Yeah.
And it was great because it was before I got into all this stuff that I'm doing now. Mm-hmm. It's very meditative. You're in the ground, you move, it's really healthy. Mm-hmm. And you can get into real good flows where inspiration comes in by doing something that's somewhat mindless. For me, the designing part is fun. You like figuring out what plant goes where and, how you want to build this up. And
Yep. So that's good. That's where a lot of the joy is. We have a team, of course, that does the gardening for Louise. And the team, I mean, every time I go to deliver some supplies to them or something like that, I'm always pleased and amazed at how they're smiling. You can just tell they feel good.
Yeah.
They're just in a very relaxed place every single time. Now, part of that is we have good people. We have a really, really good team. But part of it has got to be just the activity itself, I would think.
Yeah, probably.
You know?
Okay.
So what do we have for a card today?
All right. So first, we got the world, but it was upside down.
Well, I felt like that sometimes this week, so maybe that's appropriate.
Let's see what that's all about. Hold on. Let's move this stuff out of the way. Okay. 29 in the reverse.
Okay.
Oh, and it's right before the garden and the gate. How about that?
Say.
Maybe we're going to have to read that card anyway. Okay. Being that you did say, who knows what it has to do with spring or anything, but okay. So the world, expansion and opening up, but I saw it in reversed. So it says, receiving the world reversed means that you've been severely limiting your view of things.
Oh.
You're thinking too narrowly, either in your own opinions or actions or in what you feel you deserve. You may be feeling boxed in by old ways of doing things, not quite sure of how to expand. This card calls for you to think creatively outside of the box, and you'll find the outside of the box that you find yourself in now.
Mm.
So in addition, you may have emotionally painted yourself into a corner, surrounded on all sides by energies such as fear, short-sightedness, limited thinking, and self-doubt. But you still have the option to let all of that go. And this card is telling you not to wait a minute longer to do so. It's time to break out, see the unlimited horizons around you, and know that the world is waiting for you to take center stage. All right.
Okay.
That's cool.
That's a central law of attraction concept too. The concept of letting go of whatever it is that you need to let go of. And I can certainly think of things this week that I could probably let go of. It'd be a good thing to let go of some stuff. One of the first questions that always comes up whenever you're talking about letting go with somebody, particularly somebody who's newer to it, is, well, how do you let go? You know, I remember that was one of my first questions early on. Like, how do I look? I don't even know what I'm holding on to. How can I let go of something I don't even know I'm holding on to?
Well, if you know that you're constantly blocked by something, you're holding on to something.
Mm.
That's one way to look at it, right?
Right.
Because this is talking about I think it was talking about letting go of limitations that you painted yourself into this little box. Like, it's time to get out of there. Like, the world needs you out there. I lost your video.
Yeah, I know. My video's going funny again.
Yeah. So, and it really does fall in line with a lot of the energy that has been going on for many people. In fact, I had a client email me some stuff earlier today with some readings that she got for herself. There's a tarot reader on YouTube. Her name's Estelle, Esteele, and she does readings for the year of every zodiac sign, the month, and she does these weekly readings.
Okay.
And so weekly readings the weekly readings are general for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes maybe she does a weekly for your sign as well. But anyway, so many of the signs, because I've seen a few, and this client also sent me some stuff today, which was really kind of addressing this. You're opening up to something new. It's time to have confidence in yourself. Step forward with what you want to create. Let go of these old ways of being, because it's like you can't even stay there anymore. And that has a lot to do with how all these energy updates, at least the ones I've been doing lately every month, with the energy changing. And there's just so much of this shifting going on where really, and a lot of people were getting sick and stuff, purging these old energies to make way for this new stuff. So if you get a card like this, it's kind of reminding you, like, wait a minute, let's look to the possibilities. Allow yourself maybe to take a risk or to open to a possibility, because it's an unlimited universe, right? Mm-hmm. There's possibilities all around. But some people are so painted into a certain way of thinking that they don't let themselves free. And that can hold them back from really stepping into something that could be amazing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know,
but I know what that's like. Sure. I've done that many times.
Yeah. And sometimes because people think they have to know all the answers ahead of time. They have to have proof that it's going to work before they get there, rather than just going with the energy, getting there and letting it go. Yeah. That's
good. It is.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've done that many times. I I can even think of a communication you and I had offline that might be kind of fitting into that
Totally
the zone.
Well, we don't have to mention that.
We don't have to mention it, no.
It's no big deal anyway. It's just about having to, well, maybe some people out there with law of attraction might not believe it works because they need some kind of hardcore evidence, when really the evidence is in the results, really, and this card talks to that too, because if you're not going to allow it, if it's so outside of the realm of taking a chance and believing in yourself or believing in something bigger than you, then you're just going to hold yourself back, right?
True.
So you could take the chance and maybe it doesn't work, but at least you open yourself up to broaden. Yeah, because what did it say in that card? It had a good statement in there. And you may have emotionally painted yourself into a corner, surrounded on all sides by the energies of such as fear, short-sightedness, limited thinking, or self-doubt. Somewhere it said something about limiting yourself. You're thinking too narrowly.
Yeah, I remember it said that toward the beginning.
Either in your opinions in opinions for action, or in what you feel you deserve. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that could be it too. Like I say, as far as like law of attraction stuff working. Yeah. There could be patterns, programs running that tell you don't deserve for good stuff to happen to you. So how could law of attraction ever work for you if you're running that program?
Oh yeah.
It's just not going to be possible.
I think I think most of us deal with stuff along this line all the time. I mean, that's just part of being alive and staying in connection with what you want, what you don't want, what your preferences, what you don't prefer, and constantly being on top of me being in charge of my own thoughts, us being in charge of our own thoughts instead of whatever's coming into our heads from outside. We see a lot of that kind of conversation going on in the social media. Oh, I had such and such happen, and it made me think this, or I had somebody was talking to me and they were making me think that. And like, no, nobody's making you think anything. You're the one who's doing the thinking. Right. But that's the way we often think about it. We often say, oh, no, it's these outside forces that are doing it to me.
Because everything's an inside job.
It really is.
And what pops in my head is, I remember, God, I used to have really bad road rage.
Road rage? Oh, geez.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would even follow people to their parking space.
I had that happen to me once.
Was it me?
I don't think, no, it was a guy. Actually, this was when I was working in Stamford, Connecticut. And I was driving down into work, and the guy was following me on the Merritt Parkway, and it was just, this guy, I don't know what it was. There was something about me he didn't like, but he followed me off the exit, and I could just tell he was going to try to confront me somewhere. Well, where I worked was about 3 blocks from the Stamford police station, so I just drove to the police station. When we got there, he realized where we was. He just kind of took off. But if it was for that, I think he would have come after me. He was really hot, and I don't know what it was about.
People are crazy. No, I've actually done that. Because this guy cut me off and did something really rude or something. I mean, okay, this is one story. I've done a lot of things like this. I'm not going to admit to all of them. But I followed him. I blocked him off in his parking space. So he had nowhere to go. Rolled down my window and started giving him a piece of my mind. And he comes and his girlfriend was scared. She's like, don't talk to her. Anyway. I said, I don't know, whatever I had to say. Like, you were so rude. I'm sorry, right? So I've done other things. It's really stupid. You can get in a lot of trouble by doing that. But the reason I'm bringing that up is now somebody cuts me off. I send them love. I'm like making excuses for them. Like, I don't know what's going on in their world. Could be an old lady who's not seeing very well. It could be a young person just starting to drive. It could be a mom with a sick kid in the car. Like, who knows? I don't know what their story is. They didn't hit me. Why should I hold this energy? I'd rather, if they are in some kind of a frantic state of mind or whatever, I'd rather flow them some love. Keep them safe. That's what I do. I send angels. I'm like, listen, keep that person safe. I don't know what's going on in their life, but they need that right now.
Well, you're going to be
like, my son laughs at me because he used to witness this stuff.
Oh,
when he got old enough, he would. I would. There came an age. He says it's like 8, where I started letting all the curse words out, but I didn't do it before that.
Okay.
I'm like 8. Maybe you were older. He goes, no, Mom, I think I was 8. So he'll tell me stories, right? And so when he's like, what happened to you? But really, I opened my box, right? And I allowed stuff to come in. Actually, everything I'm doing now, I didn't look for it. It just all came to me in some way. Cause I just was opening. Cause like I tell you, once that egg cracks, you can't put it back. That's what expansion is all about. Mm-hmm. So if you start dropping into your heart more than in your head, and feeling your way through things, everything changes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you'll be pleased to hear. I had been thinking about what you talked about, how you'll be out in public somewhere and you'll just start sending love to various people that you see for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Along the same lines of road rage. This wasn't road rage, but we went shopping. Louise and I went shopping to a different store last weekend because we normally shop at Stop and Shop, and they were on strike. And so there was no place really to go there. So we had to go to a different store. So we went to this other store and we pull into the parking lot, and the parking lot's packed. And I was literally using law of attraction. Okay, I need to get a parking place somewhat close to the door here. And I got one that was pretty good. And as I start to pull in, I realized that the car on the right-hand side of that spot was right up on that line, and the one on the left was very close to that line. This was a tight parking spot, but there was nothing around for a long time around, and, half a mile away almost. So, okay, well, we don't have a real big car, so I very carefully worked my way in there, got it into place, and as I got it into place, I heard the sound over on the right. The person who was in the car to the right of us had opened the car door and tapped into our door. And, well, I wasn't real happy about that, but I didn't think too much of it. They closed the door. And then I got out, and Louise tried to get out, and she hit their door because it was so close, so I'm looking down I get up behind the car, look down kind of the line there to see how close. And yeah, those cars are pretty close to each other. Well, no harm done, no harm, no foul. So we went into the store, did our shopping, came out, and found a note on the passenger side in the windshield. And the note said, "I hope no one ever treats you as rudely as you treated us for whacking our car with your door."
Oh, my God.
And I thought to myself, boy, is that a person who really needs some love sent their way? So that's what I thought of. I thought about your idea of sending love to people. I said, okay, well, I'm just going to put it out there. I hope those people have a better day they had up till then. I hope things improve for them.
Oh, we're losing you again.
Oh, no, there goes the video.
Zoom goes to video to me. Yeah.
There it is.
But that person could have keyed your car. They could have done something to the car.
Yeah, they could have. Oh, God, yes.
That's a good thing.
I hadn't thought of that. Boy, I'm glad I didn't think of that. Don't want to track that.
Yeah. But there are people that will do crazy things like that. I mean, that,
yeah,
because they feel wronged. And all that is all this baggage that they're holding that they can't let out of that box, right? So they hold it and take it with them everywhere they go. So you tap the door a little bit and you are lumped in with all of those people that so-called abuse them in some way.
Yeah.
But when you really learn this, the inner reflects the outer, you can see why things occur. Yeah.
And it's a good reminder. It's a good reminder to just recognize everybody's going through stuff, and the more that we can put out there to help alleviate that's a good thing. It's a really good thing.
Okay, so I'm going to read The Garden and the Gate.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about that one because you kept pointing to that one.
I know, and when I said I don't want to read it because I didn't intend to, I wanted to shuffle, but the card was there. I mean, you have to go with that. It's just the way it goes, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So this one's about abundant prosperity and staying safe. And I saw it in the upright position. So it says this card shows a peaceful young woman in a beautifully blossoming garden with colorful flowers all around. However, the gate to the road outside the garden is locked, while the girl wears a key on a chain around her neck. This card upright bodes well for the financial scene. In fact, there may be a lot of money or other personal pleasures coming your way at this time, but be aware. The choice to stay in the seemingly security of the lovely garden or the box like in the other card, right?
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Yep.
Yeah. The choice to stay in the seemingly security of the lovely garden may actually be motivated by habit or fear or the unknown. The beauty is enticing and worth enjoying, but you may not be giving your spirit the freedom to roam, like, expanding into what more could be, right? So it says, while it's fine to amass a great deal of wealth, don't let it keep you from your karmic path or from living your truth. You have the chance to shift your focus, widen your spiritual perspective, and gain the world that is just outside your gate. Oh, so they totally go together.
Yeah. That was not an accident.
That was not an accident, no.
No. That's cool, too. Well, plus I also like the fact that it was a card that had a gardening thing on it, because any gardening thing this time of year for us is good.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we were talking about that spring and how much fun it is to expand out there instead of being in your house with blankets, right?
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Standing outside of that garden. But it also speaks to my client who got back showing me these different readings that came for her today. And it's all about expand, because this person wants to expand into the healing arts, but does all this other work. Oh. And actually I have a lot of people coming to me now that want to do that. They want to transition into bringing this kind of work out to the world. But
oh, cool. That's fun.
It's funny. Spirit send you whatever they send you. Right now, this is what I'm getting a lot of. And but you have to be it's a little scary. You got to step out of that box.
Yeah.
And allow, it's talking about the path that wants to draw you, right? Mm-hmm. So this path is drawing this woman, and she's seeing all this evidence coming up saying now is the time, which is really cool, because she's getting that from all these other sources, not just from when we're working together and what comes through.
So is this like her overcoming resistance and deciding I'm going to go there, or is it?
Well, it's more about just, not knowing how to do it, or not knowing, feeling like you're not ready yet, or you're not capable, or you don't know enough. You're like getting rid of all that kind of stuff that would block actually doing it. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what you're describing is an entrepreneurial activity, and entrepreneurship is scary. I mean, that's, there's a gentleman that Louise and I had a meeting with about a month and a half ago. He gave us a business card, and on the back of the business card, it had a definition of entrepreneurship. It said entrepreneurship is falling off a cliff and assembling an airplane on the way down.
Yeah.
That's a good summary of how it feels.
Right. And if you stick to the fear and all that, you may just crash,
It's quite possible, yes.
You have to go towards the freedom and the, feeling the energy of what it is you really desire, right? And holding that focus. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I'm seeing that people are starting to trickle in and find us. So either we've got new people finding us on YouTube, or else my notes on Facebook work. I'm not sure which it is. But if you're listening in to the live stream and you have questions, feel free to type them into the comments section. We'll be glad to bring them up. But in the meantime, we're just going to keep talking about source energy and life and gardening and the world upside down, but that was a theme this week in some ways. The world was upside down in some ways, because I don't want to go too much into the details of it, but Louise and I were dealing with some stuff. The gardening business is actually doing very, very well. In fact, it's doing well in the best possible ways. You'll remember that this past winter, Louise had some health issues she was dealing with. And she has pretty well recovered from those, but she wasn't looking forward to opening the gardening business again. And so we really wanted to take a lot of pressure off her if we could. So she's actually working about half time now. And I'm working about half time too, maybe a little bit more, but a lot less than normal. But we have so many return customers coming back.
Beautiful.
That, it's the best of all possible worlds. I mean, if for those who have never been an entrepreneur, the best customer you can have is the one who keeps coming back. And in the gardening world, the way I explained it to this one guy that we were talking to, your first year customer, if you can make like a 10% return on that, you're doing great. 20% is like, whoa, yeah, I just knocked it out of the ballpark. But when they're a second year customer, you might make 40% on it, just because that first year you have to put so much into developing that customer. Well, these are all the 40% customers. So we're actually able to survive. I mean, it would have been great if we were able to do it at full speed, but Louise can't do it at full speed. And yet the universe provides. Here we are, we're working at half speed, and the business is coming in, and it's coming in at a great pace.
Yay!
Yeah.
Let's do a little happy dance for that.
Happy dance, absolutely, yeah. And that was actually a theme of our conversation Louise and I were having this week, because she was frustrated about a few things that she wants to go differently, and I want them to go differently too. I kept having just to remind her, yeah, but look how easily the business is working. I mean, you're not having to work like you did. And she's actually able to continue to rehabilitate from what she was dealing with medically. She still deals with it. I mean, it's still there. It's just not the issue that it was, thank goodness.
Yeah.
But now she can continue to rest. She can continue to recuperate. And maybe even get outside and do things like riding bikes and taking walks and so forth, which she was never able to do in the past few years during the gardening season. So,
oh, great.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
So does anybody have, any of our usual people out there have questions or anything?
Our audience is quiet, so I can't give you anything particular coming from them, but hopefully, somebody will poke in with a question if they've got one for us to address.
All right. So I'm going to pick another card from another deck.
Okay. All right.
Maybe today is just like card reading day, but not individuals.
No, we don't do individuals. No, we do this for the group. This is for everybody, for the podcast.
All the requests come in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is interesting too. I mean, we look at those cards we did. I mean, they covered, I know they covered me. They covered some of your clients. They covered a lot of people. Yeah. So that's the nice thing. They cover a lot of people all at once.
Yeah. And also, whatever it was in our conversations, whether it was from the cards or not, I guess it is. There is a shifting going on, and we are letting go. Okay, what made me think of it is that things are shifting for you, right? Now you got all these repeat customers coming, because you know what? The old way, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's freaking gone.
Thank goodness, to be honest.
Yeah, because I had some things I've been working on too, and this one thing that just wasn't breaking, and I'm like, so I decided, you know what? Whatever. Spirit, you take it over. I am just not going to give it another thought. I just hold good intentions. Whatever's for my highest good, fine. And, I'm cool with it. You do it. And literally that thing totally worked out in my favor. And I know that it's like, it's kind of like a rebirth in some ways, in some aspects. The whole release of some old pattern, gone. And I've had a few things that indicated that this is gone. And this week, this one thing that occurred is just the icing on the cake.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's actually been an ongoing theme for me. Just learning to let go of expectations of how stuff should work out. Yeah. How it should all play out. And why isn't it all playing out? I call it keeping score. And I know that I have this long-term tendency to keep score. Just practicing, just let go of it. You don't have to figure it all out. You don't have to solve all the problems. You just let it come. Just let it come in the way it's going to come.
Yeah, and the more you do it,
I'm getting better at it. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting better at it.
The more you do it, the easier it gets, because I know that's why I did a series of videos too on ego versus the soul, because that's that thing. It's like the ego is what keeps you from letting go.
Yeah.
And just being with that soul energy that knows everything works out. Just follow me, right? That's why you want to pay attention to synchronicities and signs that you get. Spirit's talking to you. It's just a matter of you listening or noticing, right? Anyway, but even though I know all this and I've been working with this, I was still teetering on that, like letting go, and then slowly finding myself feeling this energy like, wait a minute, I thought I let go. What the heck happened? Okay, here we go.
Yep. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
It just like creeps up.
Oh, yeah.
It's true, right?
It happens. I swear it happens every day. It's not even occasional. It's every single day.
It happens to everyone.
Yep.
Nobody's totally immune to that. But, there's a good side of that, because it contributes again to growth and expansion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Every single time it happens, it's one more opportunity to ask myself, is that something I prefer? Or is there something I don't prefer? I get to make the choice.
So this next card,
it's an upside downer.
It's upside downer. So it says the Diamond Dreamer, material wealth and true prosperity, and it's in the upside down position. So
what that's all about.
I haven't used this deck in a while, so I'm not really sure. So let's just see. Okay. So we'll see what the deck has to say, and then we'll just put our own interpretations to it as well.
Yep.
So Oh, sorry, in the reverse.
Mm-hmm.
So in the reverse, in this deck, they call it a challenger, right?
Okay.
So it says the Diamond Dreamer challenges you to address your perception of the power of materialism. Do you focus on the material world above all else? Oh, this just might go right with the conversation we just had.
Yeah, this is true.
Do you focus on the material world above all else? Have you become hypnotized by the notion that it's the only reality? Have you grown too attached to stuff? Have you come to consider wealth only to be the accumulation of your worldly goods? Now's the time to find value and wealth in the intangible spiritual experience. Before anything is seen reflected in the manifest world, it originates in the unseen. Perfect law of attraction conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The spiritual and the divine mind. So first it originates in, I cut that in the middle, right? The unseen, the spiritual, and the divine mind. Be careful what you wish to manifest, for you may not want to pay the price of keeping it once you get it. So really, when you're thinking in those, when the ego's controlling those thoughts and is putting in that negative stuff, well, that's what you're manifesting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want it?
Be careful what you ask for at that point.
Yeah. That's what it's telling us. Be careful what you wish to manifest. So it says, the Diamond Dreamer also reminds you that disappointment and disillusionment are sometimes the way home to the truth of what's best for you, which is, again, what we were just saying.
Yep.
That stuff is leading us somewhere, teaching us something, right? It's like we shouldn't hate it.
That's the constant thing to remember. The constant reminder for myself is just don't worry about what that current thing is. Just it's moving into where it needs to be. Just let it go. And it's not easy. It's not easy to do that.
Well, that's what my course is about. Just find ways to feel good, because everything is vibration. When we're in that higher vibration, things just start falling into place. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it says also, he, meaning the Diamond Dreamer, is that what we call this guy? Yep, the Diamond Dreamer, may be here to tell you that when you don't get what you want, it's being withheld from you because something better is in store.
Yeah, we've heard that one a lot.
Yeah. So it says, be compassionate with yourself and others at this time. Let the Diamond Dreamer lead you to the highest dreams for your perfect purpose and true prosperity. All right.
Well, that's an interesting point that it's hammering home there, which is the idea that wealth is not just tangible wealth. Wealth comes in a variety of forms. I mean, just knowing how to be a deliberate creator is a form of wealth. I think it's probably the greatest form of wealth I've ever discovered, is understanding that my thoughts and my beliefs and my feelings create my life. I mean, that's the ultimate wealth right there. Because when you really know that, and I'm still learning it, but when you really know that, boy, oh boy, that's power. That's amazing power. And
I was getting goosebumps because in my mind, I was thinking, just helping someone to feel better in some way is like jackpot. And you know what? Everybody wants to do that. That's why those videos of somebody helping somebody or memes or whatever in social media go viral. Because everybody wants to see somebody helping someone or somebody achieving something or overcoming something because someone's helping them, right? Mm-hmm.
There was a really great one like that. It was a video that went viral, I don't know when, over the last few weeks. Apparently, there were these three guys who were in a fast food type restaurant, and they saw an old woman by herself eating, and one of them just kind of got the thought, I'm just going to go over there and talk to her. So he went over and said, do you mind if I sit down? She said, sure. He sat down with her and just, started talking to her, and learned that it was the day before what would have been her husband's and her 60th wedding anniversary, but her husband had just died.
Wow.
And so she was in kind of a rough place. And so he invited her over to come eat with his friends. And they just spent the entire time just having a meal together, getting to know each other. And they had a video of her. She was smiling and all this. Right. Just one little thing there. People who didn't even know each other, just taking the time to just be kind to somebody. Yep. It was really cool. Totally. And that one went crazy, 40,000 hits or something like that within a very short period of time.
Right. And because our true nature is love. So when we see that expressed in some way, we're drawn to it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, how about all those videos you see of the person going into the the waterway, like, because the dog is stuck in the middle of it, and there's this people holding each other to go down and get that animal and bring it back up and out, right? I mean, water. Did you see that one with the little black dog? I mean, the water was rushing.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen that one. I saw one like it where it was, I think it was a fawn who was stuck out in the stream and was drowning, and a man saw it, and I think it was in cold weather too. Like, 30-degree weather, and stripped down, dove into the water, and just dragged that fawn back onto land.
Right.
I mean, they're like, whoa, holy cow.
I've seen those too, right? On ice, and they're pulling the dog out. In there. Yep. So, because it's all about love.
It is.
That's why it's lovemylife.coach, because really that's, the more we love our life and feel good each day, the easier things roll. Like, I mean, I've been around this forever, but it seems brand new. I love how it can always seem brand new every time you kind of move into a higher level of something, that, really this thing about letting go and just trusting it all works out freaking works.
It's scary how well it works. I mean, there are times where you just kind of shake your head saying that I don't see how this could possibly work out. And then it just unravels into this little thing that you never really expected. And how did it do that? How could that? But it did. Yeah. And it happens over and over again.
Yeah.
I mean, the only complaint I have, Louise and I were talking about this too. The only complaint I have is very often where financial stuff is concerned, the universe seems to wait until the very last second. And then it delivers a solution.
Right.
Like,
so
we could do without that, putting it up against the deadline thing.
Yeah. Talk, say, okay, listen, Spirit, we're good at that.
Let's try a new approach now.
Yeah. But we're ready to move to the next level.
Yes.
Something tells me that you are, because you have evidence of that, right?
Oh, yeah.
So follow the evidence, right? Feel the energy to that. You could even make that a game, because it really does work when you put these, I'm not one for really planning a lot of stuff, but when you put it out there, like, okay, this week we're going to have 2 more, past clients come back, and we're going to up that thing, right? So you set out there 2 more or more, 2 or more. You're putting it there. So you're setting the energy for it to happen, and it does happen, because what you focus on expands, right? Because sometimes sometimes I don't take the time to do that.
To do what?
To, I'll never have a graph or anything that says with the weeks and the months, and I don't chart out and say by July, I'm going to have blah, blah, blah. I just don't do that. I'm kind of more in the flow of it. Yeah. And I send energy to things. But there is something to be said about actually putting it down on paper. Actually, I remember my husband and I, did we write it down? We might have even written it down. But we decided when we were only teaching karate that we only wanted good families.
Okay.
Kids with good families. We only, we don't want these people who want to nickel and dime you and want to complain, or they come in, don't even watch their kid. You know how many times I would see a kid and he's so excited, he just did a roundhouse kick and he learned something new, and he looks over at his dad, and his dad's like in the paper on the phone, had no clue what that kid just accomplished, right? Yeah. It would break my heart. So we put it out there. We only want really good families that are really there for, whether they're adults or kids, for whoever. We just wanted good families. And let me tell you, it's all we have.
We've had the same thing with the gardening business, actually. In fact, believe it or not, we've actually fired some customers because they weren't good customers. There was one customer, we fired him, or them actually. They were a $20,000 customer, which was not easy to fire, but we fired them because we were doing all this beautiful gardening work for them, and they refused to water their lawn, their plants. They wouldn't put in an irrigation system. And, so we're constantly going back, and, the plants were dying. We'd have to dig it up, put new plants in. We're trying to water what was there. We're trying to, they have to cooperate, and they're not cooperating. Plus, they had a dog, and they had an electronic fence for the dog, but they wouldn't fence off the garden. So the dog was doing his business in the garden, and that does not necessarily have a good effect on plants. So we actually ended up firing that customer, which was scary. I mean, that's a big customer.
But it's good because it takes that energy away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the net result has been that everybody who came back this year were the people we wanted. In fact, there were even a few people from last year who we didn't want, and they didn't come back. They didn't even, we didn't reach out to them. They didn't reach out to us.
Right.
You know? But all the ones that we wanted to come back, they came back.
Yeah. Sure. Oh, lost you again.
Oh, there it goes again.
I wonder if that's the streaming to YouTube. But didn't that happen last week too?
It did. Yeah.
It did happen.
Yeah. So I'm not quite sure what that is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been in contact with Zoom about it because the same thing happened with the blue jeans. I figured, well, maybe Zoom can tell me what's going on.
Are you wired in through Ethernet, or are you just on Wi-Fi?
Yeah, it's hardwired.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I don't know. Haven't figured it out. One of these days we'll get the answer. Yeah. Probably when I finally let go of it entirely, then it'll show up.
Yeah. Right. Let's let it go.
That's the way it works.
Well, look, I'm letting go that my speaker doesn't work. So far it's pretty good today, right?
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah, the mic's been nice and clear. Yeah. Really, really good. That's so good. We're letting go. We were previously in other weeks talking about, well, all this high energy is affecting electronics. We're giving up on that one. Yep. And as we give up on it, we have fewer and fewer.
We're asking it to cooperate with us. Sending love. Cooperate. Send love to my mic.
I'm gonna pet my camera. You know? So good stuff. Let's see what else is going on. We actually have what do we have going on here? We have somebody saying, stick to it. You'll get there. I believe. I'm not quite sure what they're saying, but we did have some comments. I don't quite understand what they're saying.
Unless they're talking to each other. Sometimes they
No, it's one person. It's just one person just saying some stuff.
Okay.
But that's okay. No big deal.
Yeah.
Not sure what that's about. Let's see. Oh, well, yeah, I know something else to talk about too. As you probably are aware, well, actually you are aware because you helped with reading one of our scripts for us. Alex and I are working on phase 2 of the script for The Grass is Greener, the audio cast that we're putting together. And she informed me yesterday that she had written this next segment that we need to write. We were trying to do a rewrite of part of it. And so it's my job to do the next part. And I have to admit, I had been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off because of the things going on with the gardening business. And I just wasn't feeling in a good place. And as we're leading up to the show today, I said to myself, you know what? I'm feeling good now. I mean, I have to do a show right now, but going into the weekend, I think I can go write this thing.
All right.
And that's a big deal because, I mean, it doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it's a big deal because if anybody who's ever written a screenplay will know what I'm talking about, or written a play or anything that's a script-like thing. If you've written a novel or if you've written a short story or whatever, that's hard enough, or writing even a nonfiction book is hard enough. But writing a script, I had no idea how difficult it was. Alex had no idea how difficult it was. We have amazing levels of respect for scriptwriters now. And that makes it kind of challenging because, when you start to realize, oh my God, this is a lot more difficult than I thought it was, you start kind of, creating that fear thing. You were talking about being in the box. You put yourself in that little box like, oh, I don't dare get out of that box. Well, I'm feeling like I can handle this. I can take on that script this weekend.
You can, Walt.
Yeah, so it's going to get done, and I'm feeling good about it.
You just declared it to the universe, so just tell your team out there, your higher self and all your guides, like, all right, we're on it. This is the weekend. This is when we do it.
Absolutely.
So, I pulled a card while we're talking. Guess what it is? Can you read that? Cosmic Prosperity.
Ooh, I like that.
Cosmic Prosperity. Okay, so this is the vibrational energy deck. And let's see what it says. It's not much. It's a little tiny short thing.
Okay.
So it says, accept and believe in what is being given to you at this time. Take this cosmic energy and do something great with it. Look, you're going to have some great writing happening this weekend.
Cool. I like that.
So it says, the more you give, the more you receive, but you already know that. With this prosperity comes divine responsibility. Be prepared to receive and accept. Always be in the place of higher good of mankind. So, of course, you're not writing this story with no purpose behind it. It's meant to uplift and teach something, right?
Absolutely. Oh, and it's for people. It's for the people who are going to be the listeners. Yeah.
Right. So, I think it's specifically just for what you're talking about. It's like an abundance of creativity, inspiration, and getting into that flow and stepping into. If this card was just for you, that's the way I would take it.
Yeah. I also would add to it that it kind of was saying to me this, I can't remember what the phrasing is. That's why I'm kind of hesitating here, the way it phrased it, but it was describing this prosperity, and the prosperity of the way I took it was prosperity of ideas, prosperity of thoughts, because that's really what I was trying to put out there.
Yeah.
And you also made reference to the clarity of message from higher power. I don't remember exactly how you phrased that, but that's also something I've been working on. I've been trying very hard the last 3 or 4 days, especially, to really practice getting in tune with what's going on in my what I like to call my inner Walt, the inside part of me, the part of me that's the spiritual side.
Yeah.
And really develop a clear channel. In fact, 2 nights ago, before I went to bed, I ended up just doing a little work/play with my pendulum, and my whole purpose was I want to clear out everything that might be blocking that channel. I want that channel wide open. And when I woke up the next morning after doing that, I felt the best I felt in days, like a long time.
Yeah.
So that tells me my work is paying off. I mean, I don't quite have the level of communication that I want, but I know I'm clearing the channel, and that's the right direction.
Okay. So a message that I'm hearing right now is, about stepping into your greatness and expressing your inner self that wants to shine. Like, cause that's like a big message that's been going, and I told you, it's a lot of my clients coming right now is they want to move into something, something's moving them to want to do a certain type of work and helping people. And that requires shining your light, just like writing right now is you're going to have to, you're expressing, you are light. We're light. That's what we are. So it's really letting yourself shine in these ways that really light you up and that fill your heart. So when we can follow that, there can only be good. So all that fear stuff that wants to come in, we just got to talk to the hands. It's like, yeah, I see you, but you know what? I got to follow my heart.
It's an interesting thing too, because I mean, you saw what we had for the first round of the script, and the script has a lot of really, angsty stuff going on, a lot of dysfunction and so forth. And Alex and I are both realizing, I mean, we know we need to address that. We need to bring up that kind of stuff in the story because that's what draws the listener in and all that kind of thing. But as you're writing it, you're also trying to kind of like keep a balance because you don't want to get sucked into your storyline. You don't want to get sucked into that negative energy that you're writing, and you're wanting desperately to, okay, where can I start pulling it back to the positive? That's what you feel when you're writing this stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's where the biggest challenge is, because as I was writing the first draft and now as I'm trying to approach the second one, I know I have to spend all this time in that negative space, but I don't want to suck myself into it. I have to like kind of carry it, put up a little barrier there to protect myself while I'm doing it.
Maybe it would help you, because what I'm getting right now is just to have little cards with where it's taken you, where you're going, so you don't lose sight of that. And you can remind you, oh, this is what I will be writing about, but we have to find our way to make sure this story is understood so that we can all feel the benefit of the transition into this. I don't know, maybe just seeing it will remind you, even if it's...
Well, what you're talking about is something we actually did.
A little, look, my little Ganesh, isn't he so cute?
That's cute.
Even if you have something like that represents the outcome, so you can just focus on it and say, okay, all right, now we're going there. We'll be there soon.
Yeah. Well, that's actually what we've been doing. My sister has been helping out. My sister has theatrical experience. She has experience as a playwright. And so she's been teaching me and Alex, things, tricks of the trade and so forth. And one of the things that she really emphasized to us was kind of like what you just said. She said, create an outline. Where is this show going? Write the whole thing out in detail. Describe that storyline so you can refer to it. Right. And both of us, Alex was actually mentioning this to me yesterday, how it's really helpful to have that outline there because you can look at the outline, you can get a sense of where it's going, just like you said. And now you can see that good place that it's going to. So you're right. That has been helping a lot.
Yeah. Even if it's just a little fun visual, something that you can keep reminding yourself when you start feeling you're getting too maybe And the other thing that came to my mind too is I drove across country when I moved from New Jersey to California. We drove across country. Mm-hmm. Well, we had a plan. Otherwise, we could just go all over the place and
this is true.
never get there, right? But we did have a route we could take, and we had the little offshoots because we want to go and hang out in New Mexico a little bit here in Arizona, just
right.
So it's not constant driving.
Yep.
But we kept being able to be brought back to, I don't know, whatever road we took. I don't remember anymore. We took the lower route. So, yeah.
You got to have the route. You got to have some idea of where you're going. Otherwise, the GPS can't get you there.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Of course, the good thing is the GPS will get you there. That's really what we're talking about here. We're talking about allowing and trusting that we're going to be guided the direction we want to go to, even though the road looks kind of funny.
Right. So then tell your GPS system, your spirit, your guides and your team that's working with you, mm-hmm. To keep you on track, to send you what you need, to bring you back, to make it really great and funnel it into where I plan to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it. You're right.
I guess I'm just saying, get those guys to help, because that energy is there for you.
I've been asking more and more. I mean, that's not something, me. That's not something that I would have done very much in the past. I have been asking, particularly in the last few weeks, more and more, finding out, first of all, is there anybody there? And second of all, using the pendulum to learn that. And then second of all, once I know there's somebody there, asking them, I'm trying to resolve this. How do I resolve that? I need your help with this. Help me with that. I'm doing that more and more.
Yeah.
And a part of me is proud of that I'm doing that. A part of me is saying, wow, is this really the same Walt that I used to know?
Right.
So I'm kind of getting used to it.
What's happening?
Yeah, right. We never did this before. This is new.
But you know what I like to say? I mean, there's a lot of different kind of crazy out there, right? I like my kind of crazy. It makes me feel good. It helps other people feel good. Things happen good in your life. My crazy can't be too bad. I'm cool with my crazy.
Oh, I think crazy is actually healthy.
Yeah. But some people would think my crazy is out there,
Yeah. Well, they probably think the same thing about me too.
They're allowed to think that.
Sure.
It's a free.
It's a free universe. They can do what they want. What I do know is that a lot of this has started since I'm doing the mirror exercises, because I started doing those about a year ago now, this time of year. Mm-hmm. And doing that every single day, it's kind of like a reboot, if that makes sense. It's like I've rebooted my day, starting mm-hmm. the day off with a new reboot. Yeah. And in doing that, when I first started doing those exercises, I thought I was doing it to build up my self-confidence, which it has done. And I thought I was doing it to clear out the negative self-chat in the head, which it has mostly done almost mm-hmm. all the time now. But what I found is that it's actually also kind of leading me to just trusting when it comes to what you're talking about, just doing outside the box stuff more and more, reaching outside the stuff that's not so comfortable and doing it in ways that I never would have anticipated. And I'm realizing now the mirror exercises are helping me do that.
Yeah.
Just because I'm having trouble describing it, but it's like every time that I do those in the morning, every time I do that reboot, I get myself a little bit closer and closer to that place of really connecting internally the way I've been wanting to connect. So
in case there are people who don't know what that is, why don't you explain how you do that?
Mirror exercises? Oh, yeah. They're really simple. If you want an article about it, Jack Canfield, who wrote the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, has a blog where he wrote them up. You can just do a Google search on Jack Canfield mirror exercises. But basically what you do is you get in front of a mirror. I mean, it's literally just you talking into a mirror, me talking into a mirror. And I look at myself, I see myself in the morning, and I usually start off and say, hi. I love you. I think you're fantastic. And I just give myself a whole bunch of positive strokes to get myself smiling and feeling good about myself. And then I start talking about all the things that I'm doing right.
Yeah.
And it takes a while to do that in terms of getting started the first few times you do it. I remember the first time I did it, it lasted like 5 seconds and I couldn't handle it anymore. It was just too much. And then the second day was like 10 seconds and so on and so forth. So it takes some time to kind of get used to the idea that you're saying all these really positive things. And sometimes it just takes a while to think of what are you going to say? We're so used to being critical. We're so used to, dealing with all the negativity in the world that, thinking about positive things to say about myself, I can't think of anything positive. But over time you learn, and it's gotten to the point now where sometimes I do it real quick, like a minute or so. Sometimes I'm spending 5 or 10 minutes, depending on whether I feel like I need it. And I just go with whatever the need is. But that repeated activity not only keeps reminding me over and over again to focus on the positive, but it actually helps bring more positive.
Yeah.
And that positivity shows up in a wide range of ways. And I think that's what I was trying to point to right now. I now feel more comfortable going outside the comfort zone. That happens when you feel more positive.
Right.
That happens when you have more confidence, and that's what's happening.
You know what's really cool is that, I don't know if you noticed, I think that the way you have the Zoom set up is it's speaker mode, so whoever is speaking, it sees.
Right.
So I don't think people could see what I did, but you could.
Yeah.
You started talking, and did you see me go like this?
Yeah, I saw that.
Because there was a very large bird. It was a hawk flying right outside the window, right?
Oh.
So I'm like, ooh, a hawk's flying right now while you're talking about this? I better look it up.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. It says, let spirit be your guide. Flying high above the landscape, the hawk sees both the big picture and the small details, observes the rain and the pond, as well as the cloud, and doesn't miss anything. When hawk spirit arrives, you're called to pay close attention to the messages from spirit that can appear anywhere in any form. Listen to your intuition. Keep your eyes open for synchronicities, the meaningful coincidences. Hawk Spirit asks you not to dismiss the signs that Spirit is sending to guide you. Lately, have you been hearing the same word or song or coming across the same symbol here, there, and in the strangest places? Perhaps you hear a song on the radio with just the right lyric pertaining to your query, or you begin to notice uncanny billboards, license plates, or other places where repetitive numbers or words show up for you to notice. Pay attention to the animals that appear for you and connect with their symbolism. Spirit wants to communicate and reach out again and again. When Hawk Spirit appears, it's a sign to listen. So we were talking about that too, right? You got to pay attention to, you got a team out there and they're going to support you. And they're going to send you messages and they're going to give you little tips and things that you can use to move you forward.
That's good. That's good. I like that.
So,
Now, there is something else that I have seen quite a bit lately on Facebook, and it's kind of like the flip side of this thing. So maybe you could address that too. There are people who they will see, number combinations. They'll see the same repetitive patterns over and over again, and their reaction is to flip out over it. Oh my God, I don't understand what this thing is, and I feel like I'm missing something. I'm probably screwing something up here. They get frantic about it. What do you say to somebody who's getting frantic about their signs?
Do they look them up? I mean,
I don't know.
I don't understand. I don't know anyone. I've never met anyone that gets frantic over signs. They're more welcoming for these signs. I guess it has to go to what's that person's underlying energy. Like why is it they're going to something where it's kind of freaky or not feeling in a good place rather than, wow, I just got this awesome sign. I got to see how it applies in my life.
I think part of it is, like you said, they didn't necessarily look it up, so they're hoping that somebody on Facebook can tell them what it means.
They need nobody can tell you anything. You got to look up your own shit.
I think that's true. Yeah. In fact, the way I like to look at it is, it isn't so much that there is an objective meaning. It's what does it mean to you? What does it mean for you in your case?
Yeah, and you know what? Why give your power away to other people over social media to tell you? Empower yourself to find out what it means to you. You don't even have to sometimes look at so-called meanings that people put to these things. Feel, what does it feel to you?
Yeah.
I mean, you get repetitive numbers, they're always good signs. So look them up. I mean, all numbers, basically it's all good signs. If it hits you in a certain way, it's leading you somewhere. Even if it's something that's telling you to be cautious. It's still leading you to somewhere that is for your highest good. But, I mean, I don't know if I've ever got a cautious kind of message. And if I did, I'm sure I would be grateful for it. But I would see what it means to me, how it applies to me. And if I'm not sure, I go searching, what does it mean? What's the metaphysical meaning of? Or, yeah.
I always find that if I see a sign of some kind like that, some sort of a pattern, all I have to do, this is one of the times where I do feel like I am connecting well inside. I just ask myself, what does that equate to for me? Do I have an association for that? And invariably something comes.
Yeah.
And it's usually pretty quick. I usually don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
So I think that's the part that always surprised me. Why are they looking outside? It always seems like it's there for me. Maybe it's not there for them. I don't know.
Yeah, but I want to just point out what you just said. It's there for you. So you have this communication going. Where's it coming from? Mm-hmm. It's coming from this team you have in spirit that's supporting you.
Yeah. I guess that's it. That's good.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
It is cool. I like that. Before we part for the day, I wanted to give you a chance to tell people more about how they find out more about your coaching service and your YouTube channel and so forth. So tell people how to find all that stuff.
You know what? You can just go to my website, lovemylife.coach. I mean, right on the home page, I even have a little YouTube thing where it'll flash a couple of videos. So like anything you want to know, it's there. I've got many pages, all kinds of information, all good stuff. If you wanted to just go to YouTube, Linda Armstrong, Energy Healer, I'm sure you'll find me.
Sounds good. All right. Well, thank you, Linda. This has been a good way to wind up the week, as it usually is. It's a good way to get the energy going for the week. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. It's fun. Thank you to our live stream listeners who found us on YouTube on our little experiment here. And thank you to our podcast listeners as well. That's where almost all of our listeners are. We really love every one of you. We'll see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.